Hello, Reckoning 7. Welcome back to Commission Battle for Normandy. We continue the Prelude on the Seine mission, which is the start of the Amiens Tonight campaign. And this will be, I think, episode 6, and we'll also think it might be our penultimate episode, but we shall see. Now, things are going to look a little bit different from where we last left off, as I have advanced time about 5 minutes. So at the tail end of the last episode, we had just destroyed the 2 panzers in the centre, and we cleared out the last resistance in the chateau. Now, we didn't actually have much Germans directly in front of us at the time, beyond a couple of light foxholes out on this flank. And so I decided, well, I just mean a lot of kind of wandering through the woods, so I'll advance time offline, and then we can come back when we're a little bit closer to being able to push in on Bois Jerome and Objective Ac and touch phase line Swan, and that's where we are. So there was a handful of infantry left in the centre, and you still see there is 1 German still alive. It's because they tended to, small groups came under fire, they broke and they ran, and sometimes we've ran back through our lines and taken a little bit to hunt them down, but not posing much in the way of a threat. Similarly on this flank, it's probably the more interesting one because there was a little bit of action. So there was, I think, a couple of foxholes we knew about, so we have cleared those out with generally no injuries or incidents. We did lose a Bren gunner who got his tracks immobilised, or Bren vehicle I should say, not Bren gunner. Bren carrier, that's what I'm looking for. So it was just, again, 1 last German soldier managed to survive the onslaught, and as we were trying to close in, got a plucky grenade away and damaged our tracks. We also found some foxholes kind of down along this position. Again, we've kind of pushed most of the Germans off. There's 1 last group here. They are running for their lives, so hopefully we can see them off as well. Although we have taken a few casualties, and there was a German, I don't know if it was an artillery strike or a mortar round landed last turn, which is shaking a few teams here. In terms of the actual defences, we've identified a foxhole in this position, so we know there's some German infantry on this flank. And more importantly, we've identified this trench line back here. Now, we did also take a little bit of fire to one of our Bren carriers, which didn't destroy the carrier, but did take the heads off several gentlemen sitting in the back. I suspect it's maybe some kind of 20mm type cannon, or maybe an armoured car, something of that calibre. But I don't know exactly what. We've got no firm spot. We've got our FO, which should have ended this minute get in position, hopefully give us visibility in the back here to see what's doing. In terms of how we're going to press this attack, well, I see we've got 1 Cromwell on this flank, supporting B Company, who are spread fairly thin, to try and, again, identify the hard points and then press in. The real key here is identifying anti-tank assets. Depending on what this vehicle is and how dangerous it is, the real play is just going to be to roll the Cromwell up to the tree line and then just kind of blast them from far before moving in with the infantry. In the centre, we've got our 2 Cromwells coming down the road. We have cleared most of that, although I'm not trusting this long stretch yet, so we need to get some scouts on that. And predominantly we've got A Company pushing in the centre here, with C now forming a bit of reserve just because they're slightly further behind. And then on our left flank, D Company, well, 2 of their platoons are fairly badly beaten up after having fought their way through and taken the chateau. So we've got a little bit of scouting going on for them, but they're not doing too much, and I'm not going to push forward with them too much further either. But we do have 1 fresh platoon where we're going to use to push in, do some scouting, and hopefully flank in a phase line Swan. And they are supported by 3 of our scout cars, which are still good. And I'm just kind of holding them without the minute. They've kind of outstripped their infantry, and I'm a little bit nervous about marauding them forward. Because at the minute, I just don't know what the Germans have. Beyond, we know there's a infantry position and a potential armoured vehicle of some description. I have no idea. It could be they've just only got a smattering of infantry with machine guns. It could be they've got a handful of panzers sitting back here. I just don't know. So I'm a little bit nervous about pressing the attack too aggressively by just driving in with my tanks and vehicles on the off chance that we get caught out by an AT gun or a panzer or even a Panzerschreck team, to be perfectly honest. So that's where we are. So why don't we hit the big old red button? We can watch this a minute and hopefully we'll get some eyes on what's coming at the back here. We've got our howitzers left still. I've not used them. We'll see if we get any more contacts, and hopefully he dies, because I don't like these individual units marauding through the trees. They're a bit of a pain to deal with. We'll go over and check, see what happens there. And and you can take the occasional casualty. Speaking of casualties, we've just lost 1 of our scout cars to something. And I have no idea what it is. Okay, casualty in the middle. Truck, infantry. Not that interesting so far. More casualty in the middle. Oh, okay, some Germans in this house. Oh, fairly eventful minute to come back for. Okay, where do we start? Let's start with the big one, I suppose. My poor scout car has done some fantastic work for us. It's been sitting here for maybe a minute, if that, just kind of hanging out. One shot has immobilized it. Ooh, okay. So I wonder if that then is another armoured car tucked in here somewhere. Just guessing by the rate of fire, that it's not just like a Panzer or a single AT gun. But obviously it's doing enough damage to penetrate, so again, something maybe along the lines of a 20cm cannon. Interesting, interesting. Unfortunate, but there we go. I want to see what happened to our friends who are running away here. Who were somewhere in here. There's some Germans. There he is. Looks like they make it away. Unfortunately. Which means he'll probably pop up over here in a minute. Okay, and then we want to check the infantry, but we got sight of here. Who have we found? Just a... not quite cowering. He's looking the wrong way. I think this is probably one of the units we've driven out with Vauxhalls. They're just not quite been finished off at that point. Although I'd love to either make him surrender or run, and running is good. Hopefully we can gun him down before he makes it anywhere else. Maybe not. No, he's in the open. God, my Tommies can't shoot. Okay, and then, I mean... you, my friend, are just a truck. There's something else back here. Unless it's moved, which I suppose is entirely possible. We'll check his line of sight to make sure he's got visibility and all that. Because you're not the one that sees the trucks. There might be a trees in his way. Okay, I am slightly nervous of what killed. I mean, it could be from this position. Let's go and replay where the shots came in from. A little bit gamey, but used the game. Is it here? Although, if it's here, why didn't we see it? I'm paused. Okay. I mean, it looks like it's kind of hit that tree in there, so it would suggest the vehicle is then just in this little area. Which I would have suspected to have some eyes on, and is only making me very nervous about my friends over here. Okay, I'll have to get some... we've got some scouts broken out, but they're taking their time to get here. And then we'll have to make a decision on whether I want to pull these guys back or risk them sitting where they are. Ah, and yes, and the house in the middle. So we had been pushing in to try and take this position. And it turns out there is at least one German. Let's go. And we had a team here who... where are you guys going? So they'd been given an order to assault this door. And I think they've gone and got themselves quite badly murdered. By going the wrong way. Yep. This is unfortunate. Oh, and it's a brain gunner, of course it is. Not entirely. Shots may have come from this house, but they could have also come from maybe further down the road. But I suspect they're probably from in here. And then you guys are drip feeding yourselves in. This has gone spectacularly badly. I mean, there's definitely more than one German in here. I don't really rate your chances, my friend. This is unfortunate. Okay. There's certainly ways and means to do that. We can either blow a hole in the wall and attack it with some heavier stuff. We do have charges actually on this chap here, and maybe that's what we'll do. We'll just move back, put our Cromwell in a bit of an overwatch position, blow a hole in the wall, and then just level that level floor of that building. Because I don't think he is going to survive. So let's jump into planning. We'll do that right now. So would you please get yourself to... Well, when we blow through the wall, they're going to go through it. I'm going to need to take care of this. So get yourselves over there and blast through. You're going to have to reverse yourself to say here. And then face that. May well end up losing my blast team because they might get cut down, but hopefully they can get through, keep their heads down, and then we'll put some heavier fire in on those gentlemen. Right, who have I got at the front here? We've got some scouts moving in. We'll keep them where they are. I want to check your lines of sight. You can see absolutely nothing through this tree. Okay. I can see why. Alright, let's get yourself moving forward. Just one action square. I'm worried you're going to get spotted and shot. We've got a slight scout moving out here. Okay, let's try and move you into this position. I need more eyes to know what's coming our way. Okay, grand. I think everyone else should just be on general advance orders. I already had broken out some scouts. The only ones I'm not moving are you. Well, you're here to see down this road. So I was kind of expecting something parked at the bottom, but it doesn't seem to be that way so far. And then finally for my scout cars, yeah, what do I want to do? Probably... just try and hide behind some trees, to be perfectly honest. I mean, it may not be the greatest defense in the world, but until I know exactly what it is and where I'm dealing with, I'm a little nervous. Okay, let's push on another minute. Oh, actually, before we do a quick pause, let's go watch our hero. This is your time to shine, my friend. You've got a Stein gun, which is, you know, one of the best things you can have for this kind of scenario, but you're outnumbered, and yeah. So we got 4 dead Brits. I'm really frustrated that they decided to assault through here. Now, I knew it was a risk, because I didn't know what was in here, and there's a good chance, even if they'd both gone through this direction, they would have died anyway. Hello? We have found our friend here. And indeed it is a 20mm gun, okay. But it is not a armoured car. It's just a gun emplacement. That's set up, what, an AA gun. Okay. Now the question is, how dangerous is that to the front of my Cromwell? And can I just drive up and take care of them? Alright, sorry, let's head over this way. And I think... well, I want it to be quiet because I don't want any more of these guys to pop. And yeah, I do need to take care of that. As long as there's no other AT assets. Your line of sight is still terrible. Okay, oh, that was our blast. Actually, that ended up being not the greatest blast in the world. In fact, that was pretty terrible. And I fear you gentlemen are about to have a bad day. Okay. My two options are to try and pull them out, get them to blast through, or is there any chance you can see this building? You can! Alright, just hit it. And to be honest, you are probably just going to have to get your head down for a minute while we put in some suppressive fire and then follow up. Okay. There's a good chance that he might hit this wall and actually cause our own casualties, but I've put myself in a little bit of a bad situation there. Meanwhile, our AA gun, which we've lost sight of again. I mean, you can see here. Maybe it's just going to take a minute or two to see things. Now, because you can see the pink's just on the ground, so it's actually a reasonable line of sight back here. It's just you can't see the actual ground point because the way the lay of the land goes. What we want to do is probably scoot you forward. From this position, are you able to target that? Yes. Okay, that's what we'll do. Excellent. Right, I'll keep you live for one more minute. Oh, looks like our scouts here have come under some fire. Probably to be expected. As I try and identify whatever was in the near. So let's start, see what happens over here. We'll see what happens with our Churchill, and then I'll probably go and need to check all my commands, because I'm being sure I'll be someone standing around doing nothing. Oh, that's a great start. Okay. I'm feeling pretty happy about this. To the point where I'm willing to send in my engineers next turn. It's probably overused HE. I should maybe have done a target briefly command. But that is useful. No. Uh-oh. This has not gone to plan. You missed. Oh, you are absolutely kidding me. Well, where did that come from? There's clearly someone who has left alive in this little forest area. So it's just some random German has ended up hiding in this forest, and we haven't quite got our infantry, oh, excuse me, entirely up in line with our very edge. Decided to stop running away, and has just put what I think is a Panzerfaust inside my cruiser tank, which has somewhat hamstrung my ability to then clear out this A position because the brain carriers aren't going to be enough. That is actually quite a setback. Now, we do have a plan B, in terms of we can drop lots of ammo on this, but that's a sore blow to lose a tank in that manner. And now you're getting involved just for funsies. I am upset about that. We'll go look at that in a moment. Okay, so fallback plan is going to be to drop a load of howitzers in this position. Take it out that way. Right, some infantry and a tank. Did we get a firm spot at all? No. So we think there's some kind of light tank armoured car sitting in this position. And some infantry in perhaps this house. Okay. Alright. Best laid plans of mice and men and all that. Right, we've got this. What's the time limit? 11 minutes. Okay, that's going to leave me 24 to push in this time, because it's really, I'm not going to be able to push in anywhere along here. We can still kind of come in from this angle, but we won't be able to cross this road with this AA gun sitting there, and that was the only weapon I had in the side in which to deal with it. So, let us just smash this position, please. I've got a lot of these guys. I should use these more often, to be perfectly honest. But the sight lines have been pretty poor to get a meaningful view on somewhere you can drop a load of ammunition. But anyway, let's use all my guns. Let's go probably just light. No, go medium and short, I think. Immediately go. Let's see what we get in. Meanwhile, I think we're going to have to try and get eyes on our friend here. I don't know exactly what it is. You've got the 40mm, which may or may not be enough to take out whatever this thing is. And we also need some additional support to infantry. But one advantage we have is that if it's nestled in here, we can also bring in elements this direction and it will be protected from there. But I think I'm not comfortable enough to risk a big push with these scout cars yet. I want some more info about what it is and so I can understand my ability of hitting it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put a cut, and I'm going to go away and check all my route orders. I suppose I had all these green bits up the entire time. And then, yeah, so we're going to have to make a big push through the centre and around this flank. We're just going to hold these guys as a bit of a reserve, which is unfortunate, but that's the way I am. So yeah, I'll see you in a couple minutes. So a couple minutes further on, I thought I'd found a good way around the problem of that AA gun by swinging some of the light carriers, brain carriers I had around a slightly further angle to come and approach this side of Bois Jérôme, where the buildings are blocking our view of, or the line of sight to that gun. And then we could put some additional machine gun fire upon these foxholes, which seemed like a fairly solid plan to help my infantry out pushing forward, until there was one little problem in the way, if you can see it right here. So there's a German one of these foxholes, absolutely nails a Panzerschreck shot. You can see the shell here, flying horrifically straight and true. Takes out a brain carrier. So I think I'm down to one brain carrier on this side. And that's frustrating, but you know, okay, they can have a little bit of good shooting as well sometimes. Meanwhile, in the centre, things are going steady, if slow progress. As you can see, some trouble over here, and we did find, so I was using my engineer team since we're in position to kind of blast their way through these buildings, and we found a number of Germans hiding out in this little room here. And in fact, in addition to that, there's a machine gunner somewhere over here in this compound, just out in the open, who was also getting in on the act earlier. So my poor engineers not having the best time of it. But we have identified them, so it means we can bring some additional firepower to bear next turn. Trouble is just trying to find people without taking casualties. So we've got a brain carrier we can use a bit of distance. We do have Panzerfausts. We've also got a team there who are getting involved, and we have a Cromwell over. Cromwell has been busy, just picking off other known infantry positions. You can see our scouts took fire from this direction, so we brought a Cromwell in, and this is going better. This is kind of the outcome we wanted in terms of nullifying these positions. So we're starting to get a little bit of a feel about the German defences. Slightly tougher not to crack than I was expecting, to be honest. But we're doing okay. We're bringing weaponry to bear where we can. And we'll clear this guys out. It's just frustrating to take another casualty. That being said, on this flank, continually frustrated. I'm not managing to push any scouts into any meaningful positions. They seem to be kind of coming under fire mainly from machine gun in the basement of his house before spotting either the Germans in that building or the tank. So I'm a little bit stymied at the minute, and that's kind of frustrating because there's two assets here that I'm just not bringing into the fight, and that's a loss of firepower I can't really take. Because we're starting to take a few casualties across everywhere, and I want to try and keep that as a minimum for kind of going forward. So that's the kind of state of play at the minute. Over here we'll bring some carriers in to help fire out. Our Cromwell's cleared out position in the centre, and we've got a carrier coming up in the middle to help clear out this direct assault. Over here I still feel like that was generally the right idea, albeit that it ended badly, so I'll maybe try and get a position slightly further away for my last remaining brain carrier. And that's kind of the state of play. Over here, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do over here actually. I mean, that, if I get them to this position, hopefully I should be able to see what's going on. In fact, I've got a team here. Alright, how about we just split you up? I'll grab you guys and say, hey, could you very, very kindly come here? Hopefully not get killed on the way, and just I need some eyes. I need to know what it is we're up against to see whether it makes sense to try and swing these scout cars into action. Meanwhile, it might as well stay while I plot out how to deal with these plucky Germans. So for you, I don't want to just stroll around the corner because we do have where do you reckon? Panzerfausts, so I would like to pull away and put the distance between us, but from this position do start targeting there. Are you able to target this line? You are. You have finished what you're doing over here. Is that what I want you to do? Oh, and you guys are taking a bunch of casualties. Probably from this position actually, before we were pushing in. So do you know what, yeah, just target light I think. Oh no, you can't see, that's frustrating. Okay, hold where we are, we'll do it with the carrier. And you are doing fine. Please keep spraying that hedge. We'll get some infantry in there. Good. Alright, so our last carrier over here, who is shooting at the truck. That's not really a priority target. Let's bring you over in this kind of direction, and we'll keep you further back and see what we can get in, what fire we can get enemies foxholes. Okay. Let's see if our plucky engineers can survive. Right. It's probably a bit of a tight angle I gave this guy, but he's running away. It's probably sensible. We do have other infantry coming up, which is probably better suited to clearing out, so we'll get them involved. In the meantime, we'll probably just park him here and hose large volumes of 303 into there. Please don't stop firing. Otherwise they're going to start launching Panzerfausts at you. Yeah. Okay, that was good. Okay, you're going to keep that. You're going to sit there until I get some more infantry support. Oh, that's a little red symbol I wanted to see. Good. What are we dealing with? What's that, Panzer II? Okay, so they've got 20mm cannon and a machine gun. So it's not really a threat to the likes of my Cromwell, but I suspect that could probably do unfortunate things to the front of our Daimler here. So we are going to have to be careful about how and when and what we do to engage that. And I'm assuming it's you guys here have made the spot. It is. Tricky. Because I'm going to get one shot, and then his kind of autocannon, if you want to call that, is probably going to take me out. What else could I do? Let's bring some mortars over here and try and hit it with a little bit of smoke. Just try and blind it slightly. And then get these guys to then push in quite wide. To try and attack it side on. Maybe even kind of blind it. At any rate, I'd want to get the commander's head in before we do anything else, just to affect its visibility. Alright, I'm going to have a wee bit of think about that. Otherwise, I think we're going to keep pushing on, so I might just rest on where we are right now and bring you back when we're in a position to make a move on this light tank. So we're a couple minutes down the line, and I now have a solution which is hopefully about to be implemented for this light tank here. When we last left, I was looking at interesting and ways of dealing with this using my scout cars, kind of trying to get me onto flank and maybe change its facing or smoke it up or some other kind of potential route, but they all seemed pretty risky, to be perfectly honest, and could quite easily losing me 1 or 2 assets. And I realised that actually I've got a much better tool for the job in these Cromwell tanks. This was the chap that was in the middle, who'd been blowing through the bottom story of the house over here, and I've repositioned over here, and he's just going to drive straight at the front of this Panzer and have a bit of a tank duel. And the reason I'm pretty comfortable doing that, and I really like taking tanks head to head, is that the 20mm AA cannon has spent the last several minutes continually shooting at this dismounted Cromwell, so it's clearly not knocked out, although it has been dismounted, and none of the hits have penetrated, although I'm sure it's done a whole bunch of systems damage. But that lets me believe the Cromwell here could quite happily take some 20mm cannon to the face and feel pretty good about it, which is what I would suspect, but it's good to have that confirmation. So they've got a target, or sorry, a movement order just to this first tree here where I had the scouts, and then a hunt order just directly towards the Panzer, where my scouts eventually did get spotted by the tank and took some 20mm fire. Okay, that's good. Incoming fire. Huh. No, excellent. That went much better than I expected. Okay. Why? I mean, did you guys make the spot? Hang on. No, he must have done, because he turned his turret. I wonder why it didn't open up. An acknowledgement that his gun wouldn't do anything? Well, that doesn't make sense, because the AA cannon's still going for it. We're just maybe too slow to react. But that's really good. That allows us to unlock this entire position, and I can now use my Cromwell and my scout cards to happily engage the units, the HMG team that's in the bottom of this building. Why are you outside? Interesting. The HMG team that was in the bottom of that building, maybe still be there, maybe leaving? I don't know. And... oh, wait, and lots of infantry spots. It seems to be moving... away? Okay. I don't often see the AI reposition their infantry in defense. Meanwhile, I've been trying to identify and knock out enemy positions in the center, which has been generally okay, although this is a new position. And this is not going to go well for my team. So there was a couple of German infantry and machine gun man in the bottom story here. Took them out of the Cromwell, tried to push out some scouts just outside this building, and we have stumbled across part of an infantry squad. Can you get around the corner? No. Not at all. Wait, what was that? So we're able to take care of this position with our tank next turn. Just want to see if that... ah, there it's there. Granada. Okay, scratch one more scout team. Happens, unfortunately, a lot. And... oh, scratch another scout team. So we had been suppressing a German position in this fence corner, and we pushed up some infantry to try and get a better view of what's there. And we have found 3 Germans. Okay. So they are suppressed. We are not suppressed. You've taken a shot and you've missed. You've taken a shot and missed. And then their machine gunner wakes up and rinses you both. Yeah, okay. I can't really complain. If you're going to miss a shot from a metre away, then you kind of deserve to take what comes next. Now, I'll have to be careful because I was moving some additional troops up to try and get a better position on this hedgerow, because I was aware of this an HQ unit tucked in just in this corner. I'm outside the building, but I'll need to do some more hosing with brain gunfire before we do that. I'm probably going to pull these guys slightly to the side, engage with the brain universal carrier for the brain gun there, and try and keep them suppressed, and then we'll engage them from the side there. Meanwhile, we're just trying to work our way through these guys who have been continually actually causing me problems despite constant fire from this brain carrier. Every now and again they've decided to become unsuppressed and have inflicted a couple more casualties. In fact, this squad's almost been entirely wiped out, which is frustrating. I would have expected that I would have enough volume of fire to keep them suppressed. Right, and that's probably about it. Now, we're getting a bit long too. I want to try and cover a couple more minutes, so while I'll go put more cuts, put some more orders in. I'm going to bring in the vehicles to start engaging over here, and we'll mop up here, and maybe we'll come back in a couple of minutes just see the final state of affairs before we end this episode. Alright, so this is the last minute we're going to cover, and I do want to bring you back just because it's interesting that the Germans do seem to be making a bit of an infantry push up the centre here. Or maybe just one platoon or a couple of squads, I'm not entirely sure the strength of it, but we've got one of our own sections kind of waiting at this tree line, and I'm bringing up a brain gun to support beside, and not to mention we've got the scout cars and the Cromwell supporting on this front. It does appear to have abandoned this position for whatever reason, but I'm not going to be too upset with that. So it's hopefully a little bit of a, I was going to say a little bit of a turkey shoot, but they would take the casualty almost straight away. We need to maybe do more to push back this push here. We'll have a look at a bit more detail on that, and my brain carrier is running away for some reason. I'll have to look at that as well. So the infantry down here is having a pretty bad day of it. You in the action? You're not really in on the action. And we've also, no, I see we pushed them out of the house, but they're just running all over the shop at the minute. I don't really know what the Germans are doing. Okay, so this has been entirely blunted. Okay, it's swamped in the centre where they seem to be pushing hard and fast. This is where you'd thought we would have the advantage of them running in the open towards us. Right, for a start, you were supposed to be advancing. Any particular reason you weren't? Nope. Well, let's go right back. Maybe it's just the terrain. I've just picked a poor element of terrain. Which is a shame because we really needed that brain gun additional support, because I think the squad's in danger of just getting wiped. They're just going to curl up and let him unleash his own MG42 at them, then that's only going to go one way. Okay, at least we've got some supporting fire on the go. That's a reasonable number of them. Okay, well, it's certainly making it interesting, but that's broken one squad, almost breaking a second. It's not really the pushback I was expecting, and you have driven all the way over here. Excellent. Okay, we'll come back and deal with that. Meanwhile, we seem to have dealt with positions in the centre well enough for now. I have no doubt there's still some Germans lurking in here. There always is. So we're just having to try and be cautious as we close it out, because I'm just starting to take more casualties than I'm comfortable with. We do seem to be getting kind of jumped quite a lot, and all the kind of scouting elements I have to try and reduce those casualties tend to get, well, as you saw here, wiped out by German positions we didn't know about. So we'll continue to push on. We're obviously down to the last 25 minutes. I want to try and leverage the increased armoured support I've got in this flank to try and push in and pressure maybe the back of a German position, or let's see if we do enough damage to actually get them to surrender, although there's a lot more Germans left than perhaps I was anticipating. But we'll call it there for now. Hope you have enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheerio!